Our last speaker for this session is my colleague Philip Alford, who is going to talk about the project that is on digital destinations. And I know some of his participants are currently here. Let's see how many hands. 3. Okay, very good.
Thanks,
Philip.
Dimitrios. Hear me? I'll keep speaking unless you let me know otherwise. Apart from my good friends in the row here, are there any other small businesses in the audience? Anyone who would classify themselves as a small or medium-sized enterprise? Okay, there's a few. Good. Well, hopefully this will be interesting to you guys as well as to the academics and students in the room. I'm very conscious that I'm now eating into that really dangerous zone, which is the coffee break and the networking time. So this is absolutely the graveyard shift. So I will maybe have to skip over a few slides, but I'd be more than happy to talk to people on a one-to-one basis over coffee after this session. So I'll try to be as quick as I possibly can. So small businesses, I think that pretty much tells us that they're really, really important and that we cannot overlook them. However, there is a bit of a problem. Anecdotal evidence suggests that nearly 1/4 of tourism businesses turnover, small businesses turnover on an annual basis. Now that indicates that these guys need support. We need to get more research. We need to get more insights into the small and micro business sector within tourism and the visitor economy. So what were the aims of this funded project? Funded by these good people up the top right-hand corner at the Economic and Social Research Council. We were delighted to get a fairly significant amount of funding from them to run this 12-month project, which was effectively aimed to create a knowledge network for the creation and sharing of small business digital marketing best practice and knowledge. This was a very much, and is, because it's ongoing at the moment, a digital marketing project. So there was a business-facing purpose, but there's also a very strong research component underpinning this project, because the Economic and Social Research Council are very interested in the research output and insights generated by this project. And what my research has shown is in the applied practitioner literature, more commercially oriented, and also the academic literature, there is a vacuum of insights and research and support for the small business sector, despite that earlier slide which showed their extreme significance to the overall tourism sector and to the tourist experience when they come to a destination. So we created a 60-strong project group comprising small and micro enterprises. We were actually in the enviable position of having a waiting list to join our project. We went out with a bit of a PR blast and we had over 100 applications to join the project. So we then selected 60 from that list. We divided them up into 6 clusters of 10. And we also had a very strong student component. I run a course for final year undergraduate students on digital marketing, and there were 60 students doing my course, 60 businesses in the project. We paired one student with one business for 3 months, and I embedded that as part of the course, and they also added, in most cases, some tangible and in some cases significantly tangible value to the business. So a good example of fusion in practice. Thought I'd drop the fusion word in there. So I have a little link here. If I just see, I'm conscious of time, but I thought this might be a good way of actually showing some of the kind of issues that face small businesses. We started off in November 2012 by running a formal seminar in the EBC down in Lansdowne campus, where we invited the 6 clusters, and we actually thought, rather than calling them clusters A to F, we'd ask the clusters to come up with a name for their own cluster. So you can see some of the creativity here, and if anybody watches The Apprentice with Alan Sugar, then you'll kind of relate to the Apprentices, the Social Maniacs, Digital Dragon. So these small businesses have a sense of humor, so just remember that. Okay. I'm going to see now how quickly these videos will load. And this is a recording of the, this is a recording of one of the seminars that we did down in the EBC, and there's a specific bit I just want to scroll to, which is around about 10 minutes and 30 seconds, and I'm really hoping I can get there. That'll have to do.
It's very popular.
Right.
But I haven't
No sound?
found
Should there be sound?
Okay.
Any suggestion, guys? Why we haven't got sound?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Anybody want to help with technology? This was a technology project, you know, but don't expect me to know anything about it. There's probably a button I'm not clicking on.
Dramatically in 2 years, and we haven't got any strategy whatsoever. We've just been getting busier and busier and bigger.
There is sound, it's just not very
loud. What I'd like
loud.
to do, first of all, is to set a strategy, take time out to just breathe and to see what we're doing, have a way forward, and mainly how to...
Okay. You know what? That's not very clear. Some people in the audience will recognize this. This is a very nice lady called sorry. That's it. Well, actually, that's not Kieran, because Kieran is her husband. And so this is a lady from the New Forest running a small bed and breakfast in the New Bars Daisy Bank Cottage. And what we invited is we invited all the businesses at these cluster meetings to actually tell us what challenges they were facing, what issues they're facing regarding their digital marketing, and it kind of loses its impact when you can't run the video. So I've got another video which I'll come back to in a second. So let's move on with the PowerPoint, which is where? Innovations, eTourism, it's not appearing there. There we go, that'll do. Okay, so having looked at their kind of needs and having done a sort of high definition video of the discussion groups of all of these 6 clusters, we started to shape some really interesting insights. A couple of those were a very much lack of a plan within small businesses, a formal plan for digital marketing. I think all small businesses really excited and enthusiastic, but some of them a little bit overawed and a little bit intimidated, dare I say, by the kind of scope of digital and the whole wave of digital information and opportunities. Also, measurement has emerged as a strong theme. Some cases, an inability or a lack of know-how in terms of getting insights to how you measure the impact of your digital marketing. So some of these I think I've got in a future slide. Just a few visuals, which I think are always more interesting than bullet points. So this gives it an idea of the kind of format that we had, very much round the table, businesses discussing. We recorded this, and also there's a mix of students there. The students are the young-looking ones. Sorry, no offense, joking, guys. And then the business. So very much a good sort of collaboration. And you can see that collaboration breaking out, some real good discussions going on here, partnerships forming between students and businesses, and of course business to business. A lot of hard work taking place, I hope. I hope they weren't talking about which coffee they like. Just for your benefit, Karen. So Karen, who's actually, you know, I did not know you were coming to this event. So Karen's one of our participants. Karen runs a very nice, little bit, big it up here, Karen, a very nice self-catering business in Dorset called Norburton Hall. And I've used this several times, actually, Karen, I hope you don't mind. And I thought this was a project website called the Digital Hub, which is running at the moment. The vision for this going forward and linking in with some of the good stuff that Dimitrios is doing with the eTourism lab is this will become specifically a center of expertise, resource and support and insights for the small business community within tourism. So that's the vision. I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but this is a blog post that Karen uploaded back in January. And I just think it's really telling, and it's actually quite representative of a lot of the other blog posts that other businesses have uploaded onto the website. So for example, I like this sentence. In 2013, we are putting into place some of the digital marketing tools that we were introduced to in 2012 to inform our strategy. It's a vast area, and it's a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Some of the language used by small businesses and micro enterprises is a real window into their kind of thoughts and processes and their attitudes towards digital marketing. And from a research perspective, we have got an absolute wealth of data here from the blog posts, from recorded discussions that we will be feeding into one of the data analysis tools called NVivo, which is particularly designed for analyzing qualitative data when you don't have lots of numbers to analyze. And I think that's going to be really useful to pick out some key themes from that, from the project. I'd love to read more, but we just don't have time. Let me just conclude then and look at some of the issues, and I'm going to show you a very short video clip to show some of the business impact of this project, and hopefully that will be a better quality video than the last one. Themes emerging, issues emerging, which we're taking forward into the research. There's lots of information. I think small businesses don't need convinced why they should engage with digital. I think they get it, but actually it's the how-to. It's some of the how-to principles, put it into action. That's where some of the research is going to focus on. There is a lack of time and human resource. It's the owner-manager syndrome, having to do a lot of multitasking, do a lot of things. Sometimes the IT skills are not up to the standard that they would like them to be, and of course time is an issue there as well. Linked to that, I think there is a lot of entrepreneurial skills, but sometimes not that formal marketing knowledge to put it into a framework, to put it into a plan which can be taken forward. And I think this is emerging as a very, very strong theme from the project, which will conclude at the end of August this year, which is the ability to measure and to monitor the impact of your digital marketing. There are the tools out there. There's Google Analytics, there's Facebook Insights, there's all sorts of things for other social media channels, but it's about actually pulling that together and actually relating that to the actual business. All about customer engagement and applies as well. So the problem is what you cannot measure, then it kind of tells you that maybe it isn't important. So it can become a bit of a vicious decreasing circle. If you can't measure it, you're not sure what impact it's having, and it tends to have the impact on small businesses that they move away and shy away then from their online marketing, which of course is not a good thing. There's quite a bit of outsourcing that goes on, but sometimes small businesses outsource their website or their social media activity to a third-party agency and whatever, without actually having a clear view and a clear vision of what they want to achieve from that, and that can be dangerous. A little bit of research bit. This is a research presentation as well. So one of the articles that particularly that really spoke to my research that I'm taking forward and very much hoping to disseminate some of the findings in the International Small Business Journal is this work, and it's too detailed and too busy for me to talk to in any depth. Happy to talk about that afterwards. But effectively, these guys, Simmons and Armstrong, looked at what were some of the determinants of small business website adoption. But their research is very much limited to the website. And of course, digital marketing is so much more than the website. So there is a clear gap within the academic literature and the research on the small business engagement with digital marketing. Not just website, but including many other elements. So these two boxes at the top are my kind of addition to this model. And what I'm trying to achieve from this is a model that actually is more embracing of digital marketing and not just of the website. However, it's not all about research, it's also about the impact of our research. What's the business impact? And this little story, which is about 3 minutes, I think sums it up really nicely, better than anything I could say. And this is from a lady called Mel. Mel is your typical micro business owner of a small bed and breakfast in the New Forest who came along in November 2012, was pretty intimidated by the whole thing, really wasn't sure if she was in the place, was really nervous about the whole IT thing. And this is what she has now produced at the seminar that we had last week at the EBC. We actually had all of the businesses come in for the final seminar last week, and we asked them to present an outline of what they'd got from the project and where they saw themselves going forward. So it's been kind of almost the finale of that. So let me just show you what we actually asked the businesses, do a PowerPoint presentation, put some thoughts on a Word document. Don't feel intimidated by the whole kind of presentation thing. But this is what she came up with. So let's see if I can get some better quality out of YouTube than I did last time.
I was blind, now I can see.
Right. There was actually a few people dabbing their eyes at the final seminar when she played this video, because it was that kind of emotional. This is a lady who literally came totally at sea, and instead of doing a PowerPoint presentation, she comes up with this. I mean, I was gobsmacked, completely and utterly gobsmacked. So this is what can happen. This is the transformation that can happen with a small business. And the insights, you saw the figures for yourself, the insights through this project are really, really quite significant. So I think that's it, guys. Just as well, because I've completely taken up your coffee break, so hopefully you'll get some more time for that.
Thank you very much, Philip. I think one of clap, 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 clap. I think what we take pride in this university is that everything we do has got an impact in the community, the global community, and has got relevance. So a lot of the research that we do has got direct benefits to people, and that's why we do it. Otherwise, we do something else. Questions for Philip? Any experience from that you'd like to share with us? Are you desperately?
I tell you what.
Here's one question about.
I thought the lure of coffee would be too strong for questions, but yeah.
Hi, my name is Peter Travis. I run a consultancy in the Southwest. How do you roll out this model? I mean, clearly, with a lot of help and a lot of guidance, it's working with small companies, but how do you roll it out?
I'll be very happy to chat with you afterwards, a coffee, for ideas around that. There is, I think, huge opportunity for rollout. That's one of the things we're looking at the moment. The project, I have to say, hasn't yet finished. So it finishes officially at the end of August. We had about 50 in reality case studies, including Mel's and others, presented last week, which has given us an absolute treasure trove of insights and information, which gives a window into small business marketing. We've had a lot of questions. I've had a lot of people come to me and say, how would that model work in different areas? That's something we're looking at both academically to disseminate the findings through research publications, but also perhaps through conferences and other areas. I think we need to look at a model of how small businesses engage, but I think it needs to be one that's very accessible by the small business community as well. So that's our kind of next phase. So I'm slightly ducking your question, but because the project has got another 3 months to run, that's really the final phase when we'll look at onward dissemination.